This is the all-new Hyundai i20. They've completely revamped it and apparently it's far more interesting than before and a much better alternative than your obvious choice of going for a Volkswagen Polo or a Ford Fiesta. But is that true? We're going to find out in this video. I'm going to talk you through all the changes and take it for a drive. I'm Matt Watson and you're watching Car Wow. Let's kick off this review by talking about the price. So the new i20, it starts from around £18,500. Let's talk about the design. Hyundai's really tried to make this car look modern, interesting, cutting edge. At the back though, it just looks like a bit of a mess. I quite like this light bar, but there's too many shapes going on and you've got a fake diffuser. This is a 1 litre car. What is that all about? Now this new version of the i20 is slightly lower than before, slightly wider, ever so slightly longer. And from the side, it actually looks better. I quite like these bold creases. The alloy wheel designs are all right. Start at 16 inches, rise to 17. This one's got Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tyres on it. Same tyres I've got on my Porsche 911. Should improve the grip. Ah, look, 48 volts. It's important that, we'll come to that later. At the front, the car looks much better. The new grille, it's very mean looking. It kind of reminds me of Venom. Can you see that? You've also got these bold creases on the bonnet. I like the front, side's all right, back's a bit of a mess. Let's check out the inside. Okay, I do like this two-tone effect. It does brighten things up, but it needs it because otherwise the plastic is very black and it looks cheap. It's all scratchy, hard, ow, brittle. I know you don't go around squeezing the dash, but you can tell it looks like cheap, hard, brittle plastic. I'm not keen on these ridges in the dash, which are also on the door. There's something aquatic about it. It reminds me of a fish's gills, like there. I'm not a fan. What I do like though is this new touchscreen here. Now as standard you get an 8-inch system, but this is the upgraded 10-inch with integrated satellite navigation and it's brilliant. It's really large, really easy to use. You've got your shortcut buttons there and you can whiz through different stuff. Obviously all versions of this car have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard, which is what I'd use. Great screen. You also get digital dials as standard across the range and you can flick through different menus and stuff like that. They're nice, like those as well. In terms of the driving position, it's quite easy to get it exactly where you want, and even if you're tall, look, there's just enough headroom here in the front for even big people, and if you're small you can jack up the seats and get a decent view out, and there's a lot of adjustment in the steering wheel, so that's all good, all very practical. Speaking of which, look at this, huge door bins. You've got some storage space under the armrest, a couple of cup holders there, one that's small for your energy drink, a slightly large one for a normal size can, and then there's a tray there which is where you can put your mobile phone. Even if you've got a huge phone like this, there's room for it there, and you've got your USB port there, another one there, and your 12-volt charging socket as well. All very good. Forgot to show you the glove box. Nothing special, it's average for this kind of car. It's okay in the front. Yeah, the design's just a bit weird. I couldn't live with it. Let's move to the back seats. So this car ain't too bad in the back. Look, knee room. That's really good for a small car. Headroom's decent as well. It's quite impressive. Also, there's not too much of a hump in the floor, so if you absolutely have to carry 3 people in the back, there is enough foot space for everyone. Though shoulder room is going to be really tight, though it's the same for all of these cars' competitors really as well. Now when it comes to fitting a child seat, it's a bit hard to get to the i6 anchor points because they're behind this fabric, so you have to jab the seat base in there. Also, because it's quite a small car, then if you're trying to fit one of those big rear facing seats, you do have to push this front passenger seat a wee way forward. But once again, similar story with all of this car's competitors. Now in terms of practicality, you have, look, a little pouch on the back of the front passenger seat, but for some reason not one on the back of the driver's seat. Why is that? Door bins though, look at this, big bottle. Fits nicely. Also down here there's a little place where you can put your mobile phone. It's angled like that so it doesn't slide out, and then you can just charge it straight from that USB port. Very well thought out. Let's check out the boot. The capacity is 352 litres, which is 1 litre more than the boot capacity of the Volkswagen Polo. So there, Volkswagen. Now you can squeeze 4 of these airplane style carry-on suitcases in the boot of this i20, and it's quite easy to load because there's not much of a load lip. That is when you have the false floor in its highest position. A bit more of one when you have it in the low position. One of the reasons why you might have it in this high position is when you fold down the rear seats to carry longer items, because then you have a continuous floor, so it's easier to slide things to the front like that. Now there's a few features in here like these tie down points, an odd strap. I can forgive it. Now I'm just going to put this into the lower position like that, so you can see what it's like. There we go. Even then you have a little ridge, so you can still slide things to the front, which is good. It's a good practical boot. And that brings me on to 5 annoying things about this car. While you can extend the armrest here, you can't adjust it for height, and it does actually sit just that little bit too low. This car only comes with one free colour as standard, that's white. So if you don't want that, you're gonna have to pay an extra £550 for another colour. This blue is £550. It's not the most exciting. In fact, I've called it boring blue. Behind these bits of plastic are various sensors for the safety systems. Now, most manufacturers neatly cover them with one plastic cover rather than having three separate ones, which just looks a mess. And you look at there a lot because it's right near the rearview mirror. Are you the kind of person that likes to have a spare wheel for their car for added peace of mind? Well, you can't get one with the i20 because the 48-volt battery takes up all the space. This car is only available with one engine. It's a 1-litre 3-cylinder turbo petrol with 100 horsepower. It does have mild hybrid technology. Your starter motor can add a little bit of extra boost to support the engine, and it enables it to do start a little bit when you're moving as well. But still, one engine, people want choice. Thankfully, this car has plenty of cool features to help make up for all this. Here's 5. If you need to fill the boot up full past the load cover, check this out. You can just slide that out the way. Clever. The sun visors are so huge, they're like a solar eclipse. And look, you get an absolutely massive vanity mirror. Now, to be fair, if you're buying an i20, you're probably not all that vain. The car can decouple the engine from the gearbox when you lift off the accelerator to help you coast and save fuel. As with other Hyundais, you get the peace of mind of a 5-year warranty. For the first time ever, you're going to be able to get a hot hatch N version of the i20 with a 1.6-litre turbo petrol engine with 200 horsepower, uprated brakes and sport suspension. Right, let's see what this little Hyundai i20 is like to drive. Now I'm going to start off in town because that's where most people are going to be driving this kind of car. The gear shift, it's nice, quite like that. The brakes, they're smooth, they're progressive, they're not too grabby, that's good. The clutch pedal's light, the steering's light, all those kind of basics that you want from a small car. Tick, 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 that's good. One thing that is a bit odd is the hybrid system. So you start slowing down for a junction and there it happened. Even before you come to a standstill, the engine has cut, and then when you go to pull away again, it starts again. And it's also smooth though, that you don't really notice it. You just see the rev counter dropping and climbing. Oh, that's good. Turning circle. It's fine on this car, makes it nice and manoeuvrable. Great when you're driving around town, you need to do a U-turn. The only thing that isn't ideal on this car, I'd say, is the suspension. It feels like they've set this car up to be a bit sporty. As a result, it's a bit firm over bumps. You can feel it constantly like moving about beneath you. It's a bit fidgety. It's not uncomfortable, but you do definitely feel the road beneath you. You have to try it out for yourself. Let's see how easy it is to park this thing. Visibility at the front is pretty good, although these pillars are quite thick. You've got an extra little bit of glass in the rear pillar, which does help with your visibility. And the reversing camera is handy. I'm getting quite tight into here. Oh, take it right to the flat line. That is an easy car to park. The view out the back window is just about good enough. It's very manoeuvrable, and the controls are light, really helps. As do the sensors and the camera. Can I get out of there? Is it worth it? Can I get it? Can I get it? Can I get it? Would like front parking sensors though, they always help. Easy car to park. Let's see what this Hyundai i20 is like on the motorway. Does it feel out of its depth? Well, I'm cruising along at 50 miles an hour. I'm going to see what it's like to overtake. I think I'll wait for this van to come past me though. Come on, van. Come on. I'm actually going to drop it down 2 gears. Here we go. Let's go. Before this other van comes. Come on! Don't leave me stranded! Come on! Did I annoy him? No, just had enough power and now we're at 70 finally. It's just about got enough poke on the motorway. And when you are in 6th gear and you're cruising at around 70, it has got the punch to just maintain that speed. You don't run out of oomph when you're going up a hill. This car's actually all right for doing longer journeys in. It's not brilliant, but it's fine. It's what you expect for this size of car. The main thing that stands out is you do get quite a bit of noise from both the tyres on the road and a little bit of wind from around here. So it's not the quietest, especially when you engage the lane keeping assist light. Did you hear it? It started to weave about in my lane, so it was steering me back on track. It's quite a good safety feature, that. Glad I got it. But as I was saying, it's not the quietest. A Volkswagen Polo does just seem like a bigger car, more relaxing car to do longer journeys in. One last thing I will say about this one though is that the economy's all right. I've been averaging like 43 miles per gallon. Can't complain really. It's okay. Pretty much sums up the driving experience in this car. It's okay. Let's accelerate. Again, we're going up a hill. I'm in 6th and it's building speed. Although I did just get blasted by a BMW X6 and now Mercedes, which seems to be just chucking out loads of smog. Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, I don't think the filtration system in this car is particularly good because it let all that blooming smoke in here. Oh, I feel like I'm being gassed. Did you hear that? That change in surface? If it's a bit rough, the surface, you really notice it. This is the kind of car that you're going to be turning up the stereo ever so often when the surface of the motorway changes, just to drown out that tyre noise. Come on, surface change, because this is doing my head in. Finally then, time to see what this car's like on a twisty road. I've been in normal driving mode, been in eco on the motorway, and now I'm going to change it to sports mode. Oh yeah! Collision warning. It's because I'm getting too close to the car in front. That sharpens the throttle response and adds a bit of weight to the steering, which it could do with when you're going quicker, so you can feel a bit more what's going on. Though still, it doesn't feel like the steering wheel's connected to the wheels, really. It's accurate enough, the steering. It puts the car exactly where you want it, but you don't feel so in tune with it, which is a bit of a shame. What I am impressed with, though, is the way it grips and goes around corners, this car. That's the trade-off with a firm suspension. On these corners, I'm starting to feel the benefit of that firmer suspension. It stops the car leaning so much. It actually grips, goes around corners really well. Dare I say it? It's actually a little bit of fun. Not quite as much fun as a Ford Fiesta. You see, that car, it's more playful. You can adjust it by lifting off the throttle and getting it to tighten its line and all the things that motoring journalists love to wang on about. But still, surprising little car, handles well. Bravo. So then, what's my final verdict on the new Hyundai i20? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should consider the i20. It's a fairly decent little hatchback. It's just that there's quite a few out there that are better.